It's the worst hour of the week with Brian Vokey and Ramsey Badawi.
Can you shut that? Is that door closed? Perfect. Spenny is Spenny G, ladies and gentlemen.
Spenny and the Jets.
Making his worst hour of the week debut. Welcome to the show, folks. Spenny G, not a permanent producer. We're auditioning him.
Yeah, we're you've heard the casting couch. We have a producer couch.
I would love it if we could do America's Next Top Podcast Producer, hosted by me, Brian, Liz Winstead.
Well, if Jamie from our rival podcast,
we won't say the name of the podcast.
Don't you love that when a guy leaves a network and he's like, "When I was at the other place,
when I was at the network down the road."
Yeah. So this guy Jamie produces another podcast. We're neck and neck.
We're not going to say which podcast it is, but let's just say we're all in the supplement space. Let's just say that.
And if that guy is the ideal podcast producer, then I got to tell you, that is a hit TV show. Because there's nothing reality TV likes more than a speedy, efficient, quiet, not attention hog at all type of guy. Soft-spoken.
No, doesn't seem anything too descriptive about him whatsoever.
That is the recipe for a hit.
Jamie would be judging Spenny G, and he'd be like, "Yeah, I don't know, it was pretty good."
Right, and then you just throw in one of those. What's that woman's name from Trump show? Onomatopoeia. What was her name?
Omarosa.
Omarosa. Yeah. You throw in an Omarosa. Bitch, I'm gonna produce your motherfucking podcast.
I don't think I even know what Omarosa sounds like.
I just remember her screaming at everybody.
Fair enough, man. Well,
she was a screamer.
Welcome to Spenny G. Using my laptop here to help us produce the show today. I was telling Spenny, don't hit a Y. If you're on the browser, don't hit Y, don't hit J. And I'll tell you what, for good measure, stay away from Z. I don't want you anywhere near that.
But P is fine?
P is completely fine. Nothing I go to starts with P.
Really?
What am I, insane? Go to porn.com? I'm going to pussy.com? What am I, a lunatic?
Pussypornpubichair.com.
Nah, everything I'm starting with is it's got a U and a J and then sometimes an H. It's a lot.
Right. You should just look for porn in Arabic.
I tried,
and nobody could find you.
I've tried looking for porn in Arabic. It's a very look, man. It's a culture. It's tough to find Arab porn because a lot of times it's just a Mexican woman, and it'll just
they do that all the time.
People who label porn don't necessarily take the time to really do the research on their subjects.
Do you think they like study up on like I'm playing an Arabic woman?
Yeah,
in an anal scene this week. So
do I think they do some like Meisner method?
Yeah. Start like praying 5 times a day.
Could be. Yeah, I would do
eating some lavash.
Yeah. Starting being incredibly fearful of everything their father says. If they listened more to their pops, maybe they wouldn't be in the situation in the first place.
Right.
If they acted more like Arabs.
Right. Fucking their father in an anal scene. On what's your site? If it begins with a J, what are you looking at?
Wait, whoa! What's with the
the third degree?
What's with the third over here, man? I'm trying to host a podcast. I'm not trying to get match. I'm not trying to donate sperm here. What's going on? I think those are the questions you ask at a sperm bank. Whoa.
Yeah, you on jackoff.com?
Yeah, I go to boobs.com and that's it.
Hey, will you check real quick if boobs.com is a website?
Spenny G, check if boobs.com is a website. If it is, hopefully I went to it recently. Is it still rocking pretty hard?
But
it's not a website.
No, that's up.
It's still a website. What we got on it? Yeah, it's a classic.
Oh, wow. It's like an aggregate porn site.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, you had to catch up with the times. You could try
Boobs.com was a real one?
I was the CEO for a little while for Boobs.com. And I was like, guys, can we just keep them just classy pics of junks?
That's a Trevor Milton website where he's like, we would have beat Amazon. Boobs.com would have killed Amazon if we had, but we grew too fast.
Unfortunately, we grew too fast. We moved into the to the model, into the aggregate model. It's a much more cost effective. I like the idea of maybe like a porn CEOs being like tech CEOs. Where they're like, listen, it all changed. I mean, we went from, it went from DVDs to subscription as a software. So, there's not much we could do there. But the margins were really friendly.
Dude, how funny is it that I learned the word aggregate from porn?
Yeah, aggregate is definitely what I learned from porn. Porn has taught me a lot of things. Didn't know that amateur was spelled in a funky way until porn came in.
Amateur.
I mean, it's anytime I watch a guy and I know that he can spell amateur the right way, I go, I know what this guy's up to.
You're not an amateur.
I know what he's up to.
Yeah, you're a professional for sure.
You're a professional sinner. You are going to hell where you belong.
Oh, man.
Spenny G is my oldest friend. Do you know that? In comedy, in the world that we're in here, Spenny G is my oldest friend. I've been friends with Spenny for almost 20 years now.
Are you serious?
Is that right? No? Okay, it's not true, but it's pretty close.
But you guys started out, and 15, was he in Santa Barbara with you?
He started out at public radio with me out in Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
So I do. We used to. I brought him with me. He was one of the top. Spencer is one of the top helicopter men in the game. You know what I mean? You want to talk about the top guys who do traffic reports from helicopters? Spenny G is the guy.
It's crazy you got them go from public to private.
We went from public to private. Granted, the helicopter was never in the air. And that was never what, if you read the fine print, we never promised it would be in the air.
Well, who needs it in the air? You know what I mean? That's a little needy. If you have a helicopter, that's enough for me.
I want you in the helicopter.
I trust anything anybody says in a helicopter, on the ground, in the air.
No matter what. It could be one of those helicopters that they have outside of the grocery store where you put a nickel in and you go up and down. I would trust you inside of that implicitly.
Did you just have an intern going into the microphone?
Exactly. He had a backdrop behind us. He kept shifting it to make it look like we were in the sky and that we were landed.
That's cool that public radio had interns.
Public radio does pretty good. It's
everybody's an intern.
It's basically an intern. Yeah.
Is that Ira Glass? Ira Glass is an intern.
Everyone is an intern. Public radio literally took the business model of hobos and was like, how could we apply this to broadcasting? How could they have anything but...
Right. The business model is called the pie cooling on the windowsill. That's the economic model.
Yeah. It used to be if you were a subscriber, you'd get a bindle.
No stiff, though.
No stiff.
Come on. It's tax funded. It's listener funded.
Yeah, that's what are you going to do? Break a bunch of branches? At a certain point,
get your own stiff.
Get your own stiff. It's half the fun.
I gave you the bindle.
That's going to be your. I feel like what you eventually tell your children someday, that get your own stiff. It's half the fun.
Right. There's no such thing as a free stiff.
No such thing as a free stiff.
Isn't that the tin staffle?
Yeah, of course, man.
Are you familiar?
I actually am not familiar at all.
There's no such thing as a free lunch? That's such a libertarian philosophy. I'm surprised. Tin staffle? I'm surprised you're not.
No, I only got free lunches when I was a kid. I got free lunches
every week. Let me tell you, every libertarian would tell you there's no such thing.
I used to get a free lunch every day, and I never, ever thought about it before. I didn't think about it literally until I was a senior in college. Did it hit me where I was like, oh, my God, we were poor growing up? Like, we were super poor.
Yeah. Was everybody getting free lunch, though?
Everyone was getting free lunches. Everyone was getting free lunches. Free breakfast in the morning, too, dude.
What a welfare tit state you grew up in.
You know, now if you go to I was actually reading, if you go to my high school, you actually get a free fourth meal now.
Wow.
Taco Bell every night. You get free Taco Bell. The government is literally shoveling money away. They're throwing it away. They don't love this country anymore. Fourth meal.
What was your go-to meal?
At school?
Cafeteria.
We had, you only had two choices, right? Or three?
Well, I don't know what you were doing over here in
Fair enough.
California.
Okay, we had three choices. Ready for this one? This was Spenny, were you on free lunch too? No, okay. I assumed because of Spencer's background.
Because you guys are friends?
Well, we're friends. I know a lot about his background. It could have happened. There could have been a point in his life when he was in the free lunch program. Mm-hmm. Spenny had a hard knock upcoming, dude. Mm-hmm. Is that a thing people say? Upcoming?
Yeah, hard knock upcoming?
Yeah, hard knock upcoming. Yeah.
It's the worst name of an autobiography. Well, Ramsey's hard knock upcoming.
The free lunch program at my school really broke down to three things. You got boat-shaped pizza with meat it's never that shape.
Boat-shaped pizza?
Yeah, you got the pizza that it's like Tombstone pizza, and it came in like slices, except it was shaped like Noah's Ark, and it had two of every weird kind of meat that you could find.
I had square pizza.
You had square pizza. Okay, fair enough. I imagine
California's freaky, man.
We also had like a gray burger, like a burger that was just gray.
Yep.
And then the third item was always a chalupa, like something like a chalupa, except for it was so poor quality that the first time I saw a Taco Bell chalupa, I almost shit myself before I ate.
Right. And then
I shit myself.
Yeah.
But I was beside myself. I was like, what is all of this stuff? What is this green stuff in the middle? People are like, that's lettuce, dude. Chalupas fucking from Taco Bell are fresh.
What's
man.
a chalupa?
It's like, it's one of the things.
Yeah, it's just it's just a different bread vehicle for refried beans. And,
it's beans and cheese and meat.
That's really the only thing that changes is the bread vehicle.
Yeah, it's one of the things.
Yeah.
Either way, I just remember that the first time I had a chalupa from Taco Bell, it was such high quality that it blew my fucking mind. That's how horrible quality free lunches were.
Do you think a chalupa is something you could get in Mexico?
I don't know. Well, kind of like you're saying, like a California burrito, another example of a thing that just is only available, I think, here.
Yeah, the greatest thing ever.
Oh,
the whole reason the only reason I moved here was for the burritos. Turns out you can get them elsewhere, but I thought.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine. Spenny, you're Mexican, right? Oh, wow, dude, 2 in a row. Our producers are
Tyler and Spencer.
We only employ the
Mexican producers.
we only employ the whitest Mexicans that you could find.
Yeah. Anglicans.
Mm-hmm. I ask my Latino friends, my Latinx friends, my Latinx friends, answer me this: how come you didn't throw the French fries in the burrito? How hard was that?
I know.
How'd you get so close? How'd you get all the way up to the burrito?
And that's what makes America
great. Number one, dude. We're gonna get into that. I mean, the debates tonight or last night, as you're listening to this podcast, on September 30th, were wild, and they made me proud to be an American. I love debates, man. I love debates. I always have loved debates. I got up in the morning. I was fucking excited. I jumped into the YouTube stream at 8 a.m. this morning.
You ironed your gold toe socks.
I was so because there's nothing I love more than a debate. I can't believe that people don't watch this stuff. It's the best. To me, I go, what an amazing, every conversation we ever have in our entire lives, 99% of them, worthless.
Right.
No one cares. They're the most worthless conversation ever. Couple nights every fucking few years, we have a really meaningful conversation where no one says anything. It's the best.
You know what's funny is, sorry to bring up a previous producer, but Tyler texted me, and that's kind of rough and rude.
It's rough on the first one.
I apologize.
And we do apologize, but
Tyler texted me and said,
Did he ask about me? I mean, Spenny G, we're happy you're here. We're proud. We're proud to be employing yet another Latino in the community.
We are just throwing money in the community. We really are. We're just pumping cash into it.
I mean, if there's anything else, if there's been a podcast better to your people, you tell me.
So Tyler...
We're the number one podcast for the Latino community.
Tyler texted me in all sincerity. He goes, this debate has to be the television event of the year.
Tyler is such a cutie patootie.
It's the television event of the year.
So you think you can lead. I
was like, I hate to break it to you, but I feel like Thursday night football between like the Jaguars and Dolphins gets better ratings than this debate did.
It's got to have the worst ratings ever. Tyler is like me. He thinks everybody is as freaking concerned with his nerdy concerns. I was walking around my neighborhood when the debate started thinking, what's everyone doing inside?
It's debate time. Get in your house.
Get in there, everybody. What are you doing?
Drink your Pedialyte. Hydrate.
I go, remember, dude, here's how much of the debate, here's how much I love the debate. I watched from the very beginning. I saw all the openers.
Oh, yeah. The opening debates were, the undercard was pretty fucking stacked.
I'm serious. I watched every 2,000-year-old person who spoke before the debate started. They paraded one after another for an old person to say something. Occasionally a woman was like, this is from the Ancient Presidents Society.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, in 1842, when they first came up with the idea, it's like...
when Joe Biden first ran for president.
Yeah. Boy, I mean, just every old person on the planet who was there. I watched them all. I liked it. That's how much I love the whole process of the debate. So we were in for a real treat today. I really believe that.
The city council debates on the undercard were... really good.
That's what they should do.
They really should.
City council people should come and debate.
Yeah.
At the very bottom.
Maybe like a general election, like maybe a state election right before.
One person who represents Prop 2A, the other person who represents no on Prop 2A.
Yeah.
They go out, they're wearing costumes. I mean, they really should.
You know what my favorite prop ever was? Prop K.
2000.
12, it was legalized prostitution.
Oh, dude.
Prop K.
I was smashing. Smashing yes as a free market liberal.
Yeah. I mean, it just makes sense economically. Work is work.
Economically,
yeah.
That's sort of where I'm at. Is I go whatever you want to do for a living. That's up to you. So that's why I'm voting yes.
I pay the parking meter when I park and get my dick sucked in my car.
I'm saying this to the old lady working the working the polls. And by the way, where is the poll? Is this the poll? Oh, I see. All right.
This is the poll.
This is the poll.
Prop K, legalized prostitution.
Prop K rules. All the props were weed and prostitutes rule. What's another prop that rules? They should have. We should own things that involve vaping rule. I'm voting all the issues that
Remember when politicians would drive around with a plot of grass in the back of their truck?
Was that
that's like a recurring thing that politicians would do?
Was that like an old timey dude? That's the worst part about the election is every 1920s election rule where it's like if you drive around with a little bit of grass, they have to keep the polls open for an extra 15 minutes in that town. Do you know that? You know that, Buck? If you see a dead horse on the way to an election, you get 2 extra days.
If the malt shop runs out of whipped cream, that means a Democrat automatically wins.
The amount that society has changed in 100 years is unbelievable. Like 100 years ago, it was like, well, if you lived past 30, your votes would actually count as 5 votes because you were considered an elder.
Right. Society's changed, but the 2 politicians debating were also 100 years old.
Dude, I got to tell you, as I watched the debate, and we'll get into this in a second here, I constantly had to correct the color of my TV because it always felt like something was wrong with my TV.
You're trying to figure out what was a liver spot and what was a dead pixel.
It would come on
the
Trump,
TV.
and I'd go, it's too warm right now. It's too, and then it would go to Joe Biden, and it would be too blue.
Right.
I couldn't quite figure out a color situation. It was very complicated, but we'll get into that here in a second. Before we go any further, I do want to say, how are you, Brian? Are you well?
I'm doing great, man.
I'm
doing so good.
I like to check in on people, man. It's an important part of the pandemic.
Yeah, I'm holding it together. It's one day at a time. We're all in this together. It takes everyone.
Yeah, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
Hope is better than hate. And also, what's another one? Please make sure to take all your belongings with you when you leave the car.
And don't drink Haterade.
Don't drink Haterade. There's a drought.
There's a drought.
Brian and I are just repeating all of the things we see on digital billboards in California on freeways.
Yeah.
And if you can, wash your hands, folks.
Some pun about needing a herpes STD check.
Yeah, I remember. Those were the days. You remember that? You would use the digital.
LA was just covered in STD billboards when I moved here.
STD billboards.
Every single thing was.
Yeah, progressively, the diseases on the billboards have gotten less embarrassing. I'll say that.
Yeah, for sure.
It went from serious billboards all the time about chlamydia, and now it's like, listen, if you see this kind of a boil, it could be typhoid. It's not a huge deal.
Yeah, we're seeing rickets billboards now.
Yeah. Welcome to the worst hour of the week. The Worst Hour Podcast, the podcast formerly known as the Worst Hour of the Week.
Now it's just the worst hour.
The Worst Hour Podcast. Because one of the things I've learned as somebody who's a student of branding is you got to constantly update as you go. And so we're updating. You don't want people to know your brand.
No, that's a deathbed.
Oh, dude.
If people know what you are, how to find you,
I tell people
what you stand for.
I tell people all the time, oh yeah, sure. I guess people are you're just gonna be okay with people knowing where to find you, who you are, what you do.
You don't want to be able to be held on to.
No,
you know what I mean?
No.
We do the grease melon branding.
I tell people all the time, I say, a lot of people think, Ramsey, you have dozens of Patreon subscribers. How do you do it? How do you build this? How do you build this army? And I tell people, with content, it's all about inconsistency.
Yep, it's about moving. It's about changing names, pulling up to tent and going on to the next town. It's like a revivalist.
I say every week you upload your episode whenever you feel like it. Any day, anywhere.
Doesn't matter. This episode's on YouTube. That episode's on MySpace.
I like how long it took you to get to another social media platform.
That YouTube killed it. I was going in my head with Vimeo and Dailymotion. They were going I'm thinking we should just go on Dailymotion.
This podcast is
that would be good, right?
It's going to be available only on Dailymotion.
Yeah.
I would let this podcast be acquired by the Daily Caller. I'll say that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If there's any just garbage bag right-wing tabloid that wants to pick up our podcast and run with it, No problem.
Yeah. Glenn Beck.
Independent.co.uk. Sure.
Sure. Yeah, I'm there for sure.
I always think that that's a real legit site, independent.co.uk.
Dude, what if we became the official podcast of Project Veritas?
Yeah, dude, those,
How about
those
that?
pranksters.
Yeah, those pranksters.
Those guys are.
They got our girl Tulsi.
Those guys are like right wing. They're like Impractical Jokers.
Yeah.
But for the Blaze.
People get so mad too, where they're like, "It's been proven false," and you're
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, you're falling right into Project Veritas's hand." This is a beautiful name too.
Project Veritas, for our listeners who are older than 43, is a nonprofit organization,
Right wing organization.
I think founded by James O'Keefe, and he would always do these like hidden camera pranks.
Yeah, and but it was always under the expose
Yeah, he wouldn't call them pranks.
umbrella. Yeah, he would say it's an expose.
He'd be like, I'm doing an expose on somebody. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to lunch with them and then record them. And we're like, that's just illegal.
Right, and he would wear a Abe Lincoln hat with
Yeah.
a VHS camera.
Yeah, he would bring a
the
plant.
hat.
He would bring a cactus with him that had a lens sticking out of it. There's no way
Just
he
hitting the top of the hat,
Yeah.
and flashes going off.
he would go to like one of those security camera stores, and he would buy like the latest and new technology. I remember one time he went on and had like lunch with the guy from NPR and got him to admit that, like, I don't know, NPR loved Palestine or something. I don't remember what he got him to admit, but it was like,
National Palestinian Radio.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of that kind of stuff. He also, I think, like, he got some people at Planned Parenthood to like say that they sold baby arms. I don't even think they meant it.
Organ harvesting, I think.
Yeah,
he uses harvesting a lot. He says that Planned Parenthood's organ harvesting, now they're ballot harvesting. Harvesting's a big word in Project Veritas.
People, I gotta believe that there are certain words that, like harvest is just one of those words where you're
It's
like,
a healthy word.
when I hear it,
something to chew on.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm nervous.
You picture a big scythe, big Grim Reaper with a scythe just chopping corn stalks.
I picture you taking way too much of something. Nobody ever harvests an appropriate amount of anything.
Never.
You're harvesting a ton of things. You got kidneys and grains and
I also think of going up to California to trim weed, harvest season.
harvest season. I always think of Harvest, the Christian rock music festival that would occur near my house in Orange County.
I was, near your house. I was wondering why you were saying that like it's something I should know.
Well, everybody knows about Harvest.
Yeah, it was just down the street from Buena Park or wherever the fuck you're from.
Harvest Worship Festival? Spencer, you know about Harvest, right? Harvest Worship Festival. It's like
Nobody knows about that.
it's like Shenyun, but for people who go to the
Nobody knows what Shenyun is either. That's what Shenyun is. I think that nobody knows about. Everybody knows they don't know about Shenyun.
Shenyun, if you guys, Shenyun
It's like
is
ribbon dancing or something.
it's a beautiful form of Chinese ballet. And I tell people all the time, you got to check out Shenyun. It's a fun time. Take your girlfriend.
You're the one who's going?
It's just me. I will say this: don't trust any white person you see at a Shenyun,
No.
concert. I don't even know what to call them. I'm like concert, festival,
I don't know.
TV show,
What event?
event.
Bazaar? A Shenyun bazaar?
Yeah, I guess it could be, or it could be a Shenyun recital, maybe.
For those who don't live in Los Angeles, Shenyun is the most aggressively advertised thing at Chinese ballet. It's just you're constantly getting the fucking the paper flyers under your windshields. There's billboards everywhere. It's in the magazines, all the free newspapers.
And you can't tell what they're really doing.
Nobody knows what it is.
You're like, I think that person is on their toes, or I don't know if they're photoshopped to look upside down.
It's probably owned by Huawei, and it's
Yeah.
probably just all spy.
It has to be.
Shenyun's a spy operation. You heard it here first.
Shenyun is-
Now that we're the Project Veritas official podcast,
Yeah.
we're gonna breaking news. We're going to expose Shenyun as a Huawei spy operation.
Is Huawei the Chinese phone manufacturer that they found out had a bunch of like?
That's owned by the government, was just listening and recording and selling all the data to the government.
You could tell
or
me
not even selling.
China owns anything, and I would believe it. You could tell me China owns Walmart. I'd be like, oh yeah, dude, totally. They
China
absolutely
kind
own
of
Walmart.
does own Walmart.
Do they really?
I mean, the Waltons are, they're technically the owners, but you get rid of China, what does Walmart have?
I mean, Walmart is currently locked up in this TikTok deal. They're trying to get this TikTok deal.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
You don't think it's going to work out?
China doesn't want it.
Once Walmart buys your social media app, by the way, do you kill yourself? What do you even do?
Walmart in social media.
Well, because what Walmart is going to do is they want to fulfill the e-commerce portion of TikTok.
They're the Vimeo to Amazon, like Vimeo to YouTube.
Yeah,
they're Walmart to Amazon.
Well, TikTok is gonna transition into nothing but a merchandise store that sells you fucking hats that say TikTok, and so Walmart is like, we'll just ship those out to people and fucking make a cajillion dollars. Fuck Walmart, dude.
Do you know how many? Well, by the way. That's not a worst hour stance.
It's not a worst hour stance.
I don't know what you're doing right now.
Sorry, man.
You slipped it. You put your hat on backwards, and now you're a rebel radio guy.
I'm trying to get.
I don't know what's going on. You're rabble rousing, but I want to make it clear to the listeners at home: Worst Hour Pod completely supports free market economies.
No way, dude.
What is the problem? Name one problem with Walmart.
You know what, dude? I just don't like the grocery section. I find it a little challenging sometimes to navigate. I'm looking for a TV. Next thing I know, I'm holding bologna. This is a
$3.99 rotisserie chickens. You can't beat them.
You can't beat that. And I do like, by the way, you know what I like about
is it impulse purchase there?
Well, their energy drink pricing is sub. I mean, nobody does it like Walmart. Walmart, it's like $1.88. It's always a good, clean, fun number.
But you know how they call the checkout aisles the impulse purchase section?
Yeah.
The fact that they're selling whole chickens in the impulse purchase section. Like, I came here for fucking aspirin and a lawn chair, and maybe I'll scoop up an entire fucking chicken.
Yeah, man.
That's a wild assumption to make about Americans. And by the way, they were 100% right. I've scooped up an unprepared chicken
multiple times.
I wasn't ready for it. Now I'm eating it in my car. It's just going to rot because I'm 2 hours from home. I got to down it or it's going to go bad.
The number of times I have definitely had myself a 13th century meal while driving home from a Walmart.
Yeah, you're like, why did I buy all this honey mead? I just have chicken and mead.
There's a pile of bones on my passenger seat. I don't know what I've done.
The steering wheel is just shining. It just looks like it's fucking, what is that called? Varnished?
Yeah. Every single time I've eaten chicken, by the way, or a good amount of chicken, like if you go to like a Buffalo Wild Wings, you have like 5 wings or whatever. Mm-hmm. When you're done and you're staring at that pile of bones,
you feel like a god.
You feel like a god? I feel horrible.
Oh, I crack them in half and suck the marrow out.
Oh, dude, I go like, what have I done? Like, what am I? I feel like I'm going to turn these into a necklace. Like I'm some kind of a
chieftain.
Yeah, like
a shaman.
Yeah, an old world.
You can trick a white person. My name's Ramsey, and you're wearing a chicken bone thing. My name's Ramsey, and I'm a shaman.
Yeah, you do that.
Like, that's so beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Ramsey.
I literally start crying.
Ramsey.
Every time I see him. I go, oh, that's his femur. I just did all of that. I just 9 femurs in front of me. What's wrong with me?
I love it, dude.
Dude, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's fantastic. But
I used to live in a vegan house, and I would have to eat rotisserie chickens in my van out in front of the house.
Let me stop you right there. You didn't have to eat rotisserie chickens. I like that Bryan was like, well, of course, as everybody knows, on Tuesdays, unless you want to get a street sweeping ticket, you got to eat your rotisserie chickens.
I lived in a vegan household. I have a rotisserie chicken habit. It's well documented.
You've never once tried lying about your rotisserie chicken habit?
Never. No. I'm open about my habits. You ask me anything, I'll be 100% honest.
Very clear. That's why you did for a little while rock a rotisserie chicken patch to try to really kick the habit.
It's just a greasy wet nap that I just put on my neck. There's just pimples all over the spot.
It's disgusting.
My roommates would come home on their bicycles, these vegans, and I'd be sitting in my Ford Astro van just annihilating a chicken with my hands, and they would just shake their head at me like they're better than me.
Can I tell you what
they are. I'll be honest, they are.
We have a wonderful show for you guys today. We're going to be talking about the debates. It's going to be great. Can I say this, though, before we get into the debate? Can I say this about rotisserie chickens?
Please.
I mean, if we want to talk about issues that the worst hour nation gives a shit about, it's rotisserie chickens. They don't give a fuck about anything else.
I've never cared about anything as much as I cared about rotisserie chicken.
You tell me which president is going to be better for rotisserie chickens, and I'll tell you what, I have an unfortunate idea of who it's going to be.
I do, too.
That's who I'm voting for, unfortunately.
Right. He kept all the fucking chicken factories open despite the corona.
He kept them open. He talked to his people. He said, look, give them NFL.
He goes, I brought back rotisserie chickens.
Rotisserie chickens are one of the most amazing foods, but and it's a big but, okay? And I'm going to get a lot. Send your hate mail, worstoftheweek@gmail.com. I'm not scared of it.
I'm already angry. I don't know what you're about to say.
They don't reheat well. That's my problem with rotisserie chickens. No food loses value quicker than a rotisserie chicken.
McDonald's fries.
McDonald's fries I could have any time of the day.
You could have cold McDonald's fries?
Oh, way more. If you get a rotisserie chicken, and by the way, you forced my hand here because now I have to eat the entire rotisserie chicken. I don't want to eat these godforsaken leftovers. Are the worst.
To be true, to be honest, I've never had leftovers with the rotisserie chicken, so I don't know.
Fair
but
enough.
I would assume just throw some hummus on it.
No, man, it gets weird, and like when you reheat it, it starts smelling kind of fucking strange.
You chop it up, you make a chicken salad with mayonnaise.
Yeah, you could do that, or you could just eat the entire rotisserie chicken in one sitting and just fucking deal with your life that way.
Yeah, dude, I shove my whole hand up its pussy and eat it like a corn dog.
Yeah.
I just turn it around.
Brian, you act like we didn't spend Thanksgiving together last year. I know this.
Edward Turkey Hands.
He's doing it with both hands. I like how with turkeys we were like, we gotta stuff them, but with chickens we were like, let's not be weird.
Oh
With
no,
chickens,
I always shove stuff up the chicken.
you get stuff up in the chicken too.
Yeah. I put lemons in there. Sometimes a bottle of beer I'll put in there.
Oh boy, nothing worse than a guy who uses beer in cooking. You gotta get Is there anything worse than a guy? This guy goes, oh, dude, I see some. Oh, that's marinated
Beer battered.
beer. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
You taste that? Yeah, Pizza Port IPA. You're like, shut up. You're 32.
I'll put a fucking like a MGD, a Miller Genuine Draft right up a chicken's pussy. It is unbelievable, dude.
Yeah.
It's just sugar. That's all it is.
Well,
it's unbelievable.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree. We're gonna talk.
Wait, were you disagreeing that I do that?
No, I was just really just trying to transition the show.
Okay, I was gonna say that would be a wild lie. Just want to make that clear that you think I want to convince them that I put a bottle of Miller Genuine Draft up a chicken's ass because I think that makes me cooler.
It's the worst hour of the week. These people know I'm the big ass ram dog. I'm the Thai-Town Shake. I'm the Sultan of Streaming. Sometimes you gotta fucking just rally the troops. You gotta get through. You have a lot of show to get through.
The Palestinian Panther.
The Palestinian Panther himself, man. Mm-hmm. I'm probably the only emo Arab in America.
I didn't know that. That's great. Good for you, man.
Thanks.
It's a great place to be.
I don't know, man. Sometimes I hope I go, well, I'm just going to say something, and I'm sure Brian isn't going to dig too deep into it.
You're right. I'm sorry.
That was a time where I was wrong, but that's my fault.
My juices are flowing because I was watching the debate, and I was fact-checking the debate in real time. So I got my fact-checker hat on.
You guys know that voice. That voice is my co-host. He's the co-founder of the show. He's a fact-checker. Amateur, but nonetheless, he knows how to spell amateur, too.
Yeah.
Brian, Big Business Folky. Brian, what a debate we had. I loved every minute of it. Before we go too far into the second half of the show here, I do want to remind people we have a Patreon, and it is a privilege to be a part of it. And if you should consider it, that would be a fantastic thing. $5 a month, patreon.com/WHotW. Consider joining.
Yeah, but consider. I mean, let's be honest. That would be like asking a diabetic to consider insulin.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Like, if you are a person who wants to, be a functioning, intelligent, informed member of society.
Yeah,
that all happens on the Patreon. Mm-hmm. This is great. Don't get me wrong. I love this.
Yeah,
but like if you listen to our Patreon episodes, you're coming out, firing on all cylinders. You're ready for any debate.
I actually we have a pretty substantial high school population in our Patreon.
Yeah, we do.
A lot of high school kids. And I actually spoke to one the other day who told me that he actually listened to our Patreon and aced his SATs. So
that makes perfect sense.
And the other one told me she aced her SATs and she'll be 18 this summer. And she's hot, is what she said.
Wow. She said that?
So whatever goes on in the Patreon is up. It's fair game.
Right. And also in the Patreon, your handle.
Well, hold on. Actually, it's not fair game if she's under 18. Just want to be clear about that.
I think we all know that.
Well, I'd like to be clear.
But listen, all I'm saying is that if you join our Patreon, you will come out of this election, you won't be scared anymore because you'll know the truth.
You'll know the truth. You'll come out informed. You'll make new friends. And most importantly, and honestly, and when I say this, I mean this, you'll laugh.
You know how Bumble there's catchphrases that it's designed to be deleted?
Our Patreon is designed to be subscribed to and then forgotten about. Please enjoy this 1 minute clip from our most recent Patreon episode.
he was such a dick, though. He goes, "Do you smoke?" And I said, "No, I don't smoke, but I do have an occasional cigar." Because to me, smoke means are you a smoker?
Do you consider weed am I a smoker?
Yeah, just because of your voice doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're right. I'm by that logic. I'm also divorced.
Yeah, exactly. You've been 40 for 30 years.
I owe a bookie a ton of money.
Dude, I always feel when I was a preschool teacher, I always had one student who had this voice. Yeah. Like a 4-year-old. I was always like, "You don't stand a chance, dog."
Not with you have that. I had that voice, and the problem with having this voice is I always had these concerns. Yeah, you don't ever have this voice, and you're not like, "Oh, what are gushers like?" I always had this voice, and I was like, "Excuse me, is somebody's parents going to be watching us?" Or
yeah, you're in preschool. Like, is this going to be on the test? And they're like, "There's no tests. It's preschool."
Who is liable if I fall in the parking lot? Just out of curiosity. Let's talk about this debate here before we get out of here. It is getting warm as hell. Mm-hmm. It was a wonderful debate. I was really excited about it from the get-go. Some of my impressions.
Wonderful.
Both of the candidates, early on impressions of it. First and foremost, I mean, great backdrop they had going on. It was socially distanced in terms of the actual people there. So no cheering. There was no, the energy of a normal debate was totally not there.
Which is perfect.
That's why I loved it.
I also liked how the background looked like a Sailor Jerry logo.
Yeah, the background looked like
old tattoo work.
It looked like the Facebook header, the cover photo from my most racist friend from high school.
Yeah, it looked like a Tea Party Facebook page.
Yeah, I felt like I was going to scroll to the left of it and then see a picture of Osama and Obama
right.
merged to one another.
Yeah. Dude, they also, when they introed that debate by saying that, all the audience members were socially distanced and everything was being monitored by the Cleveland Clinic.
Yeah.
I was like, if there's one word I don't want to hear in clinic, it's Cleveland. That doesn't make me feel clean.
No, you want the Beverly Hills Clinic.
Yeah. The city that had a river catch on fire.
Yeah.
That's the city that's keeping things clean. The Cleveland Clinic.
Yeah. I don't necessarily want the only positive thing associated with Cleveland might be the Drew Carey show. I don't need the Cleveland anything anywhere near this debate.
It's like his Chief Wahoo making sure everything's fine.
Both candidates had a different look going on. So first,
different kind of dead.
Different kind of energy, different kind of dead.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. One was a heart attack, one was hypothermia.
Yeah. I do like that Trump does. They had a completely different kind of energy. Trump looked like he just got done fucking your mom on vacation.
100% did. It seemed like the last thing he did was zip up his pants and then walk out and was like, "What the hell am I doing?"
Perfect tan. He just got done eating at the buffet. By the way, the buffet is what he calls your mom's pussy. He was having a fucking time.
He was ornery.
He was
ornery.
He had that swag, and he had that color and just that general energy. Biden, to me, he had the energy of a guy who had the flu, and he was on a bunch of cold medicine trying to stay awake.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said medicine because everybody was talking about how he was taking drugs.
Yeah.
But I'm like, listen, if you have a drug that makes a person with dementia able to go through a presidential debate, let's not call that drugs. Let's call that medicine.
Yeah.
And let's give that to people with dementia.
I got to say, yeah, that was a thing that was trending on Twitter was it was like Adderall.
So what?
Trump accused Biden of being on Adderall. If Adderall could, in fact, get you through a presidential election while you are demented.
Yeah. That's the best advertisement Adderall could ever get.
It is. Their stock must have shot right up. Pfizer must have shot right up.
For sure.
All I could think about. You ever have an Adderall? You ever chew an Adderall before? Out of curiosity.
What are you? Yes.
All I could think.
Of course.
All I could think about was how sweet an Adderall is while I was reading those tweets. And I was thinking, dude, I bet you I could sweeten an energy drink with Adderall. It would be so good.
I used to make a mixed drink that had Everclear vodka, Robitussin, and then we would sprinkle Adderall into it.
For what purpose exactly? What do you
Tuesday. Tuesday at the Punk House.
What purpose other than severe depression? Were you?
It was Hunch Punch Summer, dummy.
Yeah, of course. Was that before Hot Girl Summer or was that after Hot Girl Summer?
Dude,
way before.
wasn't Hot Girl Summer last year?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, there's
Or
no
2
way.
years ago.
There's no way I spent last year drinking Robitussin, Everclear, and Adderall.
Would be an
I'm
amazing.
35 years old.
The summer of your 34th year.
Yeah, I feel pretty good this summer. I've been getting fucked up.
I won't even have Robitussin. Robitussin, is that what it is?
Robitussin?
Tussin with an N? I wouldn't even have it while I was sick. I'm one of those people who doesn't have medicine when he's sick. Spencer's like me. I know that. Like guys who are like, yo, man, I'm going to try to white knuckle my way through HIV. I don't need medicine.
Dude, I'm out licking fucking subway cars just trying to get sick so I can get medicine.
Man, I hate taking medicine. I
love medicine.
I go, you want me to give up to this? You should see me. I'm holding a bottle of antibiotics, being like, "You will not save me. I will save me. You get your hands off me, Steve."
I'm all about drugs,
dude. Unfortunately, it's a horrible machismo culture thing to be like, "I will never, ever succumb to needing medicine."
Yeah, I can't relate to that at all because nowadays I don't really do drugs anymore because I'm an old man. And it's weird. It's just only reason I don't do drugs is because I don't want to run into somebody I know at my age and have to explain that I'm on drugs. Otherwise, I would do them.
Sure.
But that's embarrassing. If I ran into another 35-year-old friend of mine, I was like, dude, I am fucking tripping balls right now. I would feel so skeevy and like a ghoul and gross.
Yeah. I mean,
so a sickness is the only time I can get it in. I'm going to fucking jump off the roof so I can get some Vicodin.
I stopped doing Adderall once I was actually diagnosed with ADD. I was like, whoa.
Oh, wait, this is medicine now?
Like, oh, no. I was doing this purely as a impulsive, reckless decision.
No. Bard is recreational only.
Only recreational. I ain't fucking around with any of that stuff.
Did you hold out on getting a weed card? Did you get your weed illegally for a long time because you didn't want to be on a list?
Yes. I was off of a list for a little bit. However, once I realized it was inevitable, right? Because I've always fancied myself a little bit of a futurist. At some point, I realized, you know what? This is what's got to happen. So let's just get in the system. Let's make it clear. I went to a doctor here in Hollywood. That's how crazy fast time moves in California that like it feels ancient to me that I needed a medical marijuana prescription.
Yeah, it feels
while
so
I
long
lived
ago.
in LA. I've lived in LA for 5 years only,
Yep.
barely any time. And there was a while where for a few years I needed that card. I went to a doctor's office, no joke. The doctor wasn't there. I spoke to a mannequin that had an iPad on its face, and it was wearing a lab coat. And that was the doctor. Like the doctor's face came on the screen, and he asked me if he asked me like the 3 questions they're supposed to ask you.
Right? Are you having a hard time sleeping, focusing?
They're like, they're going like this. Do you promise to not smoke and drive? And they're telling you to nod yes. they're holding your head and they're nodding for you. Exactly.
Yeah, yes, I do.
I got my thing there, and I remember when I spoke to the doctor, I was very certain to not lie to him. I wanted to be very clear because I was like, I don't lie to anybody who is an authority, just an authority figure. So when he was like, "Do you smoke cigarettes?" and I said no, and then he went on to the next question, and I was like, "Actually, doctor, I think you should probably know this." Every once in a while, I will smoke a cigarette, or sometimes I go through phases where I do smoke.
Yeah, when my back's against the wall, I got a pack. It's lasted me months.
But so I do want to be forthright with you on this one. And I remember the doctor literally like didn't respond. He angrily looked at me like, "Are you really going to waste my fucking time right now?"
He's getting his dick sucked wherever he is.
I thought
while he's doing his thing.
I assumed this man had a Hippocratic oath. I thought this man was going to jump in and talk to me and be like, no, you don't want to do that. Let me explain to you. We just read, JAMA has a new article that says you don't cross the two. This guy was literally...
Did he have dreadlocks?
This guy was literally perpetrating a credit card scheme while he was talking to me. He had my picture here, and in the background, he was jerking off. He was looking at you, Jizz.
Yeah. He was using your information to take out a credit card to buy a yacht. And
exactly.
Aruba.
Yeah. I was nervously sitting in his office. His office
I do smoke sometimes. I do. I have to be honest with you. You got me. His
office was a part-time office, part-time bathroom of a Mexican restaurant. There was like just a mop.
You're sitting on a baby changing station.
Yeah.
Just up on it.
There's a woman working a cash register underneath the doctor. Did you get a medical marijuana card?
I did not. I didn't want the government to be behind my marijuana purchasing.
I'm surprised but you're okay with the idea of purchasing marijuana, or you were not okay with the idea of even supporting corporate cannabis. You were about probably homegrown.
Yeah. I also, when I lived in San Francisco, I knew so many weed growers that I would like babysit their kid, or I taught their kid at school, and they would just bring me a pound. Yeah. Or whatever. So I like had endless amounts of it. I don't like the way you winced at that.
I don't like the idea that these people had kids, man, and they were growing cannabis.
Yeah, they're making money for the child.
As far as I'm concerned, if anybody had anything to do with cannabis in California before 2016, before that Prop B whatever passed, they're fucking dead to me.
Yeah. Well, listen, should they be working at Pfizer? Is that what they should be doing?
They should be working at Pfizer, helping do whatever they're doing to our great future, possibly vice president or not. I don't even know where he is at this point.
Future vice president?
Yeah, he's eventually
going to run next year at 84 years old for vice president.
Well, I want them to bring back, because, back in the day, the presidents, when they would run, the president would be the person who got the most votes, and the vice president would be whoever got the second most amount of votes.
That would be great.
We should bring that back. We should make politics more wacky like that.
Just Biden and Trump in office together.
Yeah, the whole thing becomes like how are they gonna? This is gonna be crazy. For 4 years?
Or what if he loved being vice president so much that when he gets elected, he backs out and he's like, I'm more comfortable as a vice president.
I'd like to go to the Silver House. Where's the...
Marine 2, I had Marine 2 set up perfectly.
Yeah, I
had cool posters in Marine 2.
I know. I don't even know how to change the sleep number on this thing.
Yeah, Marine 1's confusing.
It's really confusing. It is. We did determine that it was, I think on possibly episode 2 of this very podcast, we determined that the vice president lives in a much classier house. It's called like the Oakwood or something.
Yeah,
it's
a
much nicer situation. Nicer. It's a little more stated. You know what I mean?
Right. We talked about that because when Trump's first week into office in the White House, they said, "How do you like living in the White House?" And he goes, "It's a bit drab."
Yeah, he hated it. He thought it was disgusting.
Drab.
I mean, what a great rich guy. What a great rich guy thing to say.
Yeah, the Obamas were sliding around the hallways in their socks, dancing to like, "It could be that old time rock and roll,"
or whatever. Oh yeah, that's you were singing rock. Good. Okay.
Yeah. What was rock?
Making sure.
Yeah, I think I was doing risky business.
But it's totally fine. You don't listen. If you're listening to the show, you understand why I interjected. You know Brian Vokey pretty well, so I jumped in and I sort of preemptively interjected.
They're listening to 3-6 Mafia, just sliding around the hallways.
That's what I thought you were going to say. And I was like, okay, easy. That's not this kind of show. This is a show where we talk about the facts. We've been doing a show about the debate for the last 30 minutes now. We've been talking nothing but debate.
Can you imagine how old that stage, I mean, the smell?
Oh, it's got to be.
It's 160 years of skin.
It's 160 years of just the worst kind of white guy skin. Yeah. Horrible diets both ways around. There's no way Joe Biden's diet is any better than Trump's, Filet of fish. It's a lot of like fast food between the two of those people.
Yeah, he's eating on those Beltway trains all the time. He's been 47 years. Trump's had a lot of just riding Beltway trains and eating fucking, Subway.
Biden's got no idea when the last time he put deodorant on. The thing about Biden, and I feel bad for the guy. What's going on with him is horrible. I mean, we as humans...
he killed it, considering.
What do you mean? Yeah, I mean, considering that, I'm very impressed with him. As humans, we have no choice but to eventually become that. Understand that, people. Yeah. All your Biden jokes, all your commentary, you are all doomed to a fate of not knowing whether it's your penis or your asshole in front of you. You're doomed to that.
Come on, man. Is that my penis or my asshole, Jack?
I just shit and piss all over the fucking place.
Man. I shit out of my dick like a damn clown, Jack.
You got no fucking choice. You know who I resent is the Democratic Party for making me have to deal with this. Yep. You're making me have to deal with the
mortality
human. I mean, there's no sadder story. This man is just literally losing it. He did. You're right about that. He did. I want to say, fantastic considering there was a very slight moment in the very end of it where I thought he was going to start to peel out of it. Right?
Yeah.
There was a moment where Trump actually went a little too far and he started talking about
his kid.
No, we'll talk about the kid in a second, but that was even a fantastic moment on Trump's part. But he started talking about, because Trump started talking about suburbs. Like, this guy's going to take down the suburbs.
I know the suburbs better than you do.
And then, that's when he dropped it, right? Biden started to snap a little bit. Biden started to go like, I'm done with this dog whistle talk, because fucking suburbs. There's a couple of moments where, look, I'll be a fucking an attorney who can make that worst case for Trump 9 out of 10 times, and then every once in a while Trump will get into a territory where you're like, he's dog whistling like no one's fucking business right now.
Yeah. Well, he has to every now and then.
He's got to do it.
He's got to talk to those people. He's like, all right, this is a cookie for you.
Yeah, exactly. So Trump was turning into it, and he was talking about, and then Biden kind of snapped out of it and was like, I'm done with this dog whistling. You've never been to the suburbs. I'm from the suburbs. And I started immediately going like, okay, don't tell him that you're from the suburbs. Like, don't.
I know.
It's the wrong. You're like,
He
was about to get on him for race baiting. And then he immediately was like, I'm that white trash, bitch.
Yeah.
I'm part of the problem.
Dude, he has so much machismo. I thought when they were arguing about a V and a K curve on the economy, they're like, this is a V curve, and they're like, it's a K curve. I expected Biden to rip open his shirt, show that V on it. Dude. This is a V curve, bitch.
Dude.
How great would that be?
He does look like he's in decent shape.
He does.
I'm proud of him for that much. That's for sure.
Well, forgetting where you're going all the time gets a lot of steps in.
You get a lot of steps in. He does a lot. He's got to take the long way.
That's why goldfish is constantly swimming.
That's the one thing that I will say I have learned from this debate is no matter what happens in November, we will be stuck with a president who cannot string together a sentence. The idea, if you tried to transcribe what either of them was ever saying, none of it would ever make sense.
No.
It's all like they both talk. Like, you know when you use the text to talk function on your phone and it gets it 83% correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Both of them speak in that pattern where you're like, every fifth word is not right.
I get the tone, but Trump does it a little more masterfully because he lets you fill in the blanks that you want.
Yeah.
So he creates an ad libs and he lets you fill it in,
without a doubt.
But Biden's just rambling.
What were any particular moments stood out to you in that debate?
Okay, so I was confused out front. I didn't understand. I know that Trump can be a little petulant, but like I was confused on why he came out so hostile. And then I was like, oh, I think he's trying to get him to snap because Biden snaps. That's why they don't show any of his media appearances. I don't know if you guys at home should YouTube Biden's what few campaign stops. He snapped at a reporter across the country, everywhere he's gone.
In his defense, she did try to take away his bowl of soup from him. So he did get a little. He gets a little.
Where's my oyster crackers, man? You know I can't eat this out with no damn oyster crackers. I'm from the suburbs, man.
You're a clown.
Yeah. So when he said clown, I was like, oh, this is working. He's goading him. He's going to get him to. And I was like, oh, he's going to say like some like 50s slur. We don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you fucking Jap scallion or something like, I don't know.
You ring back?
Yeah, it's just some fucking 40s like gang slang.
Yeah.
Where they're snapping while they say it. I thought he was going to get him to I was like, oh, this is why he's coming out so aggressive. And then I was like, what am I doing attaching a tactic to Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Like, how stupid am I? That guy shoots from the hip exclusively.
You know, I agree with you, except for I really believe that he actually has really, I think he has very smart people in his corner. I think they kind of tell him what to do, and I think he does it, and he doesn't know why it's working. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Because he went out there, and it was clear to me from the get-go he had a very specific strategy. He was going out there, and he was taking swings, and he was taking them early and often, and he had a very clear message, right? His very clear message was, why weren't you doing this for the 47 years you were in office?
Yep.
That was a crystal clear.
I've done more in 47 months than you've done in 47 years.
Dude, that is New York in a minute right there. He immediately was like, how do I brand this? How do I turn a phrase? How do I fucking make it?
Yep.
So when he says shit like that, I go, I think he knows what he's talking about, except I think people are telling him what to do.
Right.
People are saying, You got to drill home this point. And he's so shameless. He can bring it in at any moment.
Dude, Chris Wallace made me feel like at dinner with my parents in like 8th grade.
Chris Wallace is an esteemed journalist. Chris Wallace
He's a family of Mike Wallace is his father.
He's the only Fox News reporter. By the way, that's one of the great things about Fox News, where they're like, when we have a reporter and we need to look good, we send Chris Wallace.
Yeah.
Chris Wallace is the only guy they have, and I've never seen him. I mean, so many times he had to jump in to be like, you really got to stop. You got to stop. Mr.
You
President.
tweeted what my favorite line of his.
Oh, yeah. What was that? When he said, he literally at some point gets in and he goes, I'd like to talk about the coronavirus, and guys, I'd like to be serious about this. He says that.
He was this close to saying, all jokes aside, folks.
He goes, ladies and germs, if it's okay with you, I'd like to talk a little bit about what's killed its 1 millionth person today.
Also, I love when Trump says things like facts that are complete guesses, where like Biden will be like, 200,000 people died under your watch. He goes, yeah, well, 2 million would have died under yours.
Yeah.
And then that became a talking point where he would call back to it all the time, and he was just entrancing us by being 2 million would have died if you were here. 2 million would have died if you're here. And then you're watching it and your eyes start spinning and you go, damn, 2 million would have died if
That's what I'm saying. I think somebody talks to him and goes, keep saying that number, 2 million. Keep using numbers, 2 million, 2 million. Also, he does this thing where every single time Biden starts talking, he interjects.
Yep.
It's almost as if, you know what it looks like? It looks like when Biden is talking that I'm watching the DVD commentary from a very self-hating director. Because Biden will be like, in our administration, you're like, nobody cares about that administration. No one likes you.
Nobody likes it.
No one likes it.
Yeah.
Where were you 47 years ago? Where were you this? Where were you? Like, he would just keep coming in with these little fucking things, man.
Yeah. My favorite one was, will you shut up, man?
Yeah.
That was a great one.
So my overall, here's my major highlights from today's one, from the debate today. I thought that the moment where Trump, I thought that it was a very kind of, whatever. It was going back and forth. It was really petty. It was really juicy to watch. You know what I mean?
It was the least informative debate.
I learned nothing about anyone's positions, except for there was two moments where I started to see, okay, here's what's going to shake out. There was a moment where Trump turns to Biden and he goes something to the effect of, name one police, name one law enforcement organization that's for you, that supports you.
One chief of police, one union, one anything.
And then he goes, go ahead, I'll wait. He uses a Cat Williams line. He goes, I'll wait.
Yeah, I'll wait.
And he just had him on the ropes in a way where he essentially had painted him as a radical leftist. And then another moment right before where he painted him as a complete moderate, right? You're talking about the bubble where he goes, this guy's to the left, or, I mean, I guess. I don't really know where he is, actually, to be completely honest with you. Yeah. I don't think he's left anymore. I think he's left the left.
Right. And when he got him on the super predator thing, and then he got him, and he was trying to get him to say he supports the police, and through all that, and then so fucking Biden comes out, the real centrist that he is, and says, I absolutely am against defunding the police, and then he goes, you just lost the left.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just wailing him right there. Where it was like he was making him say far left stuff, and then the real Biden came out, which is, there's an illusion in this, I don't know why, but the DNC has this illusion that moderates win when they don't. Like Obama won, but he didn't run. He ran a moderate administration, but he ran a left campaign.
Yeah.
Moderates they're not attractive to anybody.
Republican moderates win because Republicans win.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with who's a if you're an extreme, dude, I remember back when I worked in the Republican Party, if you were an extreme right winger, we would be like, all right, we can hold our nose and figure something out about
taxes.
Well, just make sure he talks a lot about taxes, and those are the things that are. We'll just keep him away from the shit that we know is repulsive.
Right.
Like people don't realize when it comes to things like gay marriage and all that. Like so many Republicans were repulsed by all that bullshit, but ultimately at the end of it all, they were like, we just have to win.
They toe the line.
We don't give a fuck. We just have to win.
And the left, they hate. There's nothing the left hates more than is less left people than them who are on the left.
Oh,
That's the number one target of the left.
So Donald Trump destroyed Biden on, and I thought on that positioning, because you and I don't give a fuck about that, but people who are on the left do care about the fact that he's not one of them. Because if you want to vote on some righteous shit, you gotta, of course, you have to pay attention to that. People who are to the right of Biden perhaps center, worry a little bit about the law and order thing. So he got him there.
He was refusing. Yeah, he was wishy-washy, and he called him out for it.
He called him out for it. And then on top of that, I used to think that Joe Biden had to beat Donald Trump in order to win the presidency. Now I'm realizing Joe Biden actually has to beat old Joe Biden.
Yes.
And old Joe Biden is not a very cool guy in 2020.
No.
Joe Biden, early Joe Biden is fucking super predator.
Yep.
Buddy.
My sister texted me and thought the super predator thing was something Trump made up.
No, the super predator thing is real as shit.
I know.
I mean, Charlemagne the God called them out on it with the crime bill, and that's when he initially snapped on him or whatever.
The "You Ain't Black" interview.
There was this other moment where I thought Trump stood out was when they're talking about the unfair tax policies that Trump got to survive on. Which, by the way, the Trump tax policy, to me, the real winner in that situation, Trump's tax guy. I got to meet this guy.
Yeah, he's a virtuoso.
If I was Trump's tax guy, I'd be out there showing people. I'd be like, just so you know, I was the one who got this motherfucker to pay $750.
Billionaires, $750.
Here's my card.
His haircuts cost more than that.
Here's my card. It's on
the
phone
business
book
card
paper.
costs more than that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's on phone book paper.
It's on phone book paper. We spend no money. It's no money. No money, dude. You don't want your tax guy to have too much money.
Oh, that's great. Actually, just give me a business card in your wallet, and I'll write my info on the back of
right,
it. I don't like to pay for that kind of stuff.
He literally had him smashed, and Trump goes, I was just taking advantages of the policies that Biden put in place. And I went, oh, no.
Yep.
He's right. Oh, no.
I'll tell you where Biden got him. Biden got him on that V curve, K curve thing where it's 100% true. Only the billionaires are doing well in this economy right now.
Oh, that's not true. What about me? You got to see my Tesla investments, dude. I'm up $14 today.
Yeah. Your car alarm went off downstairs
3 times. It went off 3 times.
And it was 3 different car alarms.
Yeah.
And they all sounded like clown sounds.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the economy's working for you, but it doesn't sound like it's doing that great. So he had him on that. Yeah, and also it was really great when Biden called him out on the how Trump was like talking about the social distancing at his rallies.
Yeah.
And all his supporters are all packed together, and then a reporter got near him and he goes, back up, put a mask on.
Yeah.
That whole thing, like, that really highlights the real Trump, I feel like.
It was a messy affair. Let's do some takeaways.
When you have
here.
2 pieces of shit on stage, it's really easy to call the other one out on being a piece of shit.
I mean, it's all that was done. The difference between the two is Trump really existed in a space where he was like, I am a piece of shit. But this guy is also a piece of shit. Mm-hmm. So at least I'm telling, like, he had, I've heard that point of view expressed before, but I mean, more than ever, Trump was leaning on it, dude.
Most classic Democrat, I love losing philosophy too. Hillary Clinton, same thing. If you remember the debates, Hillary Clinton won the debates, quote unquote, but with, and Biden, I think, won on a lot of issues, but you're not winning a debate. You're talking to your base. You're talking to the country. Trump realizes that. Like, he just blacked out Chris Wallace and Joe Biden and just plowed through them because he's like, I'm talking to them, not you. I don't care that you guys are here. And Biden was respecting the process and trying to be like a debater. And it's like, that's not what works.
It's not what works. This guy.
Speak to the base.
Well, and so that's why I think he knows what he's doing in that realm. He really is good at going like, these people don't matter. I mean, like, we know comedians who can't do this. Where comedians, where you're like, you see a comedian and they're on stage and they're performing and you're going, it's like he's like, something weird happened in the crowd and he's not pointing it out. Like, hey, he doesn't give a fuck. He's running a TV set.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Trump was doing. Trump was running his TV set. He was looking into the fucking camera.
He's saving money on campaign ads so he doesn't have to pay taxes on his campaign ads.
It was Biden's debate to really say something. And what did this guy fucking do the entire time? He reminded people to vote. I'm 103 minutes into this fucking debate. You don't think I'm going to vote? I've seen so much. I missed my kids growing up watching this fucking debate, and you're reminding me to vote. You have your fucking opportunity. You have 40 million eyeballs on you, and you're telling people to go vote? What the fuck is wrong with you?
To be fair, I watched that entire thing, and there's no fucking way on God's green earth I'm voting in this election.
I'm not going to vote either, but you know for a fact. Actually, as a guy who was voting in the California presidential election, I've decided my vote is completely for sale. If anybody out there listening wants me to vote a certain way, send me that paycheck. Maybe just Venmo or Cash App us, Worst Hour Pod.
I think I'll just vote for myself.
Yeah, I'm going to vote for Gary Johnson again.
Yeah,
So,
why not?
Yeah,
all I took away is that this country has evolved past the need of debates.
we're done with the debates. It's over.
There's no discussion to be had. There's no nuance. There's no issues. It's all just war and tribal. And there's no reason for those people to be on the same stage.
No, it was. I thought in general, I think that if I have to choose a winner on this one, it's got to be Trump, because he, I think, was able to stand out in terms of really pointing out Biden's weaknesses. He pointed out Biden's failure in government in the past. He talked about Biden's corruption, like the Sun situation. The Hunter Biden stuff. Look, that stuff ultimately doesn't really matter all that much. I don't believe that Biden is inherently a crook. What happened there is that Biden's son did get a job he wasn't super qualified for. Mm-hmm. But that's just what fucking happens when your dad is the vice president. It's just what's going to fucking happen.
I know.
But Americans don't like hearing that shit.
No. How about when Trump blamed the forest fires on the forest?
Just
sweep them. He said, sweep the forests, and there wouldn't be any more forest fires.
He's great. You know what's good about him too is he's great at bold-faced lying to people. So when people would ask him about something he directly said, all he has to say is with conviction, I did not say that, and he just blasts right through it.
If you told me 10 years ago, when I was still stick and poking myself and still an anarchist, that two presidents would be on stage yelling out Proud Boys and Antifa is an idea, not an organization.
Yeah.
That blew my mind to pieces.
Yeah.
As like a person with, Antifa riot gear under his bed.
Yeah.
And like one of the first people to know who the Proud Boys were, all that shit. Just hear two 80-year-old men yelling about Antifa and Proud Boys. I'm like, what reality am I fucking living in? What is happening?
In 10 years, we're going to have a presidential debate where the candidates are one of them is going to say, listen, I think Anthony Cumia is a completely... He deserves to be on YouTube. Let him be on YouTube.
Dude, in 10 years, they're going to take DMT to reveal that so that they kill their egos for 15 minutes. Yeah. It's going to be 15-minute egoless debates, and they're going to smoke DMT.
Yeah. Rogan will be moderating that one.
Yeah. Well, levitating.
Oh, and I love it. Rogan would not have interfered at all. Rogan would have been like, you know what? You guys, just do your thing. Like, at no point would he have jumped in to want to demand control of the conversation.
He would have been opening up one of those stevia sodas. Yeah. And just with his feet up on the desk.
Caveman coffee or something. Yeah.
Just laughing.
It was... I think Biden's to win, and he lost it, if that makes sense. I think all Trump had to do was kind of really present himself as somebody who was better than the worst person on stage. Mm-hmm. And I think Biden just wasn't there, wasn't present. It got a little petty.
I honestly thought Biden won.
You thought Biden won?
Yeah, because I think all Biden had to do to win, because he does have a little bit, I don't know, but all he had to do was be alive.
He barely
for
was
90
there.
minutes. But he was barely alive, but he was alive.
Yeah.
He didn't have any crazy short circuits.
Yeah.
Because Trump was ready for it, because he was doing at one point Biden goes, first this, and then he got interrupted, and then he goes, third, and Trump goes, you were on two.
Yeah.
Because he was so ready for him to have these short circuits, which was hilarious. But that was like he stuttered a lot. But if you go back, The Onion used to roast him for stuttering way long time ago.
The way that he was tuned in and keyed into Biden
That's all he had to
really
do.
Funny.
Yeah, he was ready, and he didn't. I think the second and third ones are going to be better.
I look forward to them tremendously. Look, I'm not saying that he's a definitive winner. I'm saying that from my point of view, I'm looking at this from the perspective of what is middle America, what is whoever these independent voters are. God.
That's a wild group right there.
I would love to meet these people. These people are undecided on Trump and Biden and coronavirus. They're like, I don't know if it's really a problem. I'm not sure if I believe people die. Where are you? Where is your where's your backbone? How are you? What we need to do to you people.
It's just a bunch of people who get cheated on chronically.
If you have no idea who you're voting for right now, I think we should kill you. I think we should literally put you in the center of fucking town, and we should kill you like a collaborator.
For me, the choice is between cyanide and voting.
Yeah.
That's about where I'm at. I'm like, should I vote or should I just eat a capsule of cyanide?
Dude, I had a sick line. We'll close out the show on this one. I had a sick line the other day. I came home and I had some mail with me. and my girlfriend was like, "Hey, is anything for me?" And I was like, it's just a bunch of junk mail and the ballot. Oh, so more junk mail.
Wow.
And it was such a sick line. You ever say something so sick that you're like, dude, that was fucking tight.
Did you write Trump on it and then throw it in the bottom of a river? So that somebody, and then Project Veritas will pull it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like how their closing statements, by the way, were just Trump's closing statement was, "If I lose, here's how it happened." Let me tell you.
I know.
That's what you're the president of the United States, and you chose to end your speech on telling people when I lose. Let me.
It's like coming out against Clinton, where it's like, listen, I have problems with Hillary Clinton, and I'm not depressed, and I am not suicidal.
Yeah,
just so you know. I do think that one thing that I thought Donald Trump was, or what Biden was wrong at, and this is as a veteran. Mm-hmm. They were talking about veteran voting and how mail-in voting is a thing. Absentee voting is very different from mail-in voting.
Yeah,
and that's why I think the voting is actually open to corruption. An absentee vote has your name. It's all like, it's not a blank thing you fill in. Where like you have to write all your information on mail-in voting. It's way up for corruption more than an absentee vote.
Yeah.
And they're acting like we're all getting absentee votes. We're not. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
And also, he said 91%, Trump said 91% of the people are satisfied with the VA. He's clearly never sat in a VA waiting room.
Dude, he's not listening to this podcast.
All we do is talk about how horrific the VA is.
In this podcast, on this podcast, Trump, the VA has a 50% disapproval rating.
File me under the 9% that are unhappy.
Yeah. So
he lost my vote on that 91%. I was ready to vote for Trump.
You were undecided.
I was undecided, and then he said 91% of veterans love the VA, and I was like, oh, this guy's a liar.
Yeah.
I caught him in a lie, finally.
Spenny, Bryan is a vet. I figured maybe Spenny probably doesn't.
I'm sure Spenny can pick up on context clues.
Yeah, well,
I don't just chill at the VA because I like PTSD. Sure, you know. I like guys with weird eyes.
I like talking to dudes who don't know anything about personal space.
I like dudes who, if I ask them for gum, they tell me, "Have you ever seen a baby get a bullet in their head?"
I like seeing guys non-ironically wear desert camo.
Tactical gear.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We love you.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening to the show. We follow the show across all social media platforms at Worst Hour Pod. Follow Bryan at Bryan J. Vokey on Twitter, at Mr. Bryan Vokey on Instagram. Right. You can follow our new producer, Spenny G, at Spenny G. Is it on both platforms at Spenny G? No, Instagram's Spenny G and Spencer Gaspar's Twitter. Spencer
Hell
Gaspar.
Yeah, another guy who's not streamlined. I appreciate
another guy who, like this podcast, does not believe in brand consistency. Yeah,
why do you want to find me so easily?
At Spencer Gaspar on Twitter. Spenny's a great comic, so follow Spenny. He's really funny. And at Spenny G as well on Instagram. Follow me across all social media platforms at Ramsbad. Email the show, worsthouroftheweek@gmail.com. Feel free to join our Patreon if you want to be smart and cool. $5 a month gets you bonus episodes, gets you a welcome pack. Everyone's welcome pack went out this week. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, you're getting stickers,
pictures, handwritten letters sometimes. I mean, it's a wonderful, wonderful deal.
It's an enriching experience.
It's absolutely enriching. I also talk a lot about, I give people financial advice on the other side of the paywall. I teach them how to make more pay. I call it a make more paywall.
That's true. Ramsey will teach you how to parlay that $5 a month into making $4,000.
Yeah. So I tell people I have an empire worth dozens and dozens of dollars, and I can show you how you can do it too.
Dude, if you actually were worth $12, that would be such an improvement from when I first met you.
My empire is worth negative thousands of dollars. Yeah. Negative.
But you got to spend to make.
It's
a long con.
You saw Trump's tax returns.
Yeah.
When I saw his tax returns, I was like, dude, I would be embarrassed if somebody saw my tax returns. I've also written off some wild shit.
He said he paid $38 million one year.
Yeah, man, that's a lot of dough.
That's a lot of do-re-mi,
man. Anyways, gang. Hey, if you want to come, if you live in the Los Angeles area, you can email or message Bryan. He's performing somewhere around here shortly.
October 1st, Burbank. Hit me up.
Let's see. Other than that, man, you got anything else to plug?
No, sir.
I got nothing else to plug. On behalf of me, Bryan, Spenny, and everybody here in the Worst Hour Nation, peace be unto the prophet.
Long live nothing.
Coming in hard with the depravity you see. This is the worst hour of the week. Reaching new lows
Thank you for listening to the worst hour of the week with Bryan Vokey and Ramsey Badawi. Peace be unto the prophet.